I lost my son, essentially. So, they call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
All right, so the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I lost my son, essentially. So, they call it dead naming for a reason. The reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. My son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus. That was Elon Musk, the world's richest man and apparently the world's worst parent, claiming that his trans daughter is dead because of the woke mind virus. But that's simply not true. His child is very much alive, thankfully. However, since Musk can't accept that she's trans, he chooses to pretend she's dead. This speaks volumes about his morality. Any parent who would rather pretend their child is dead instead of accepting them for who they are is not just a bad parent, they're a bad person. It reveals their true character. Most parents love their children unconditionally. They may not always understand or approve of their actions, but they still love them because that's the essence of unconditional love. Elon Musk, however, has conditions. If you're trans, he doesn't love you anymore. You're dead to him. This is so morally reprehensible that even looking at him grosses me out. What a terrible person. He should be ashamed of himself, but this man seems incapable of feeling shame. To be fair, I understand that he feels hurt because he no longer has a relationship with his daughter. But whose fault is that? It's his own fault. He is dead naming and misgendering her in front of millions of people, refusing to respect and accept her for who she is. And he wonders why they no longer have a relationship. Put 2 and 2 together, Elon, and maybe you'll figure it out. Would you want anything to do with a parent who treated you this way? I know I wouldn't. We're learning that his rejection of his trans child and subsequent anger over what he perceived as her indoctrination by the woke mind virus are part of what drove him to buy Twitter. The Advocate explains, Vivian Wilson, 20, is one of 6 children Musk had with his first wife, model Justine Wilson. She filed a petition in Los Angeles County Superior Court in April 2022 to legally change her name and gender, citing the reason as gender identity and the fact that I no longer live with or wish to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form. Justine Wilson expressed pride in her daughter, recounting a conversation where Vivian said, I had a weird childhood. I can't believe I'm as normal seeming as I am. When Justine replied, I'm very proud of you, Vivian said, I'm proud of myself. This young woman is genuinely happy and proud of herself, but Elon Musk is attacking her. He thinks his daughter was tricked into being trans. His rejection and cognitive dissonance led him to buy Twitter to combat the woke mind virus, and he's changed his political views to take on this supposed trans menace. Musk is dead naming and misgendering her, unable to understand why it hurts her. He's focused solely on himself. He implies in interviews that she's not actually trans, believing she was tricked into it. It's been reported that he also thinks she was tricked into being a communist and hating rich people like him. I don't know their personal dynamics, but public dead naming and misgendering likely contribute to their estrangement. If he's this cruel publicly, imagine what he might have said privately. Musk also claims he was tricked into signing documents for his son Xavier before understanding what was happening, amid the confusion of the pandemic. He insists he was misled about what was best for his child, believing the claim that Xavier might commit suicide if not supported was a lie. Musk and Jordan Peterson argue that clinicians lie to parents, claiming children will commit suicide without gender-affirming care, which they call a radical transformation. This is patently false. The higher suicide rate among trans youth is due to underlying depression and anxiety, not gender dysphoria. Clinicians know this, but are often too cowardly to state it publicly. Musk and Peterson argue that telling parents this is immoral and pathological. They believe doctors who promote gender-affirming care should be jailed, claiming it's tantamount to sterilization. Wanting to jail doctors for providing medically necessary, life-saving, gender-affirming healthcare is fascistic. These decisions are made by medical professionals, parents, and the child, weighing risks and benefits. Imagine the government intervening in a child's cancer treatment because it's risky. That would be insane. Yet Musk advocates a blanket approach to gender-affirming care, disregarding evidence and promoting government overreach. Musk deludes himself into thinking he was gaslit into signing documents, believing his child wasn't really trans. He shares more on Twitter, misgendering his daughter and claiming she was born gay and slightly autistic, contributing to gender dysphoria. He asserts she was not a girl, citing her love of musicals and theater as evidence she was gay, not trans. But being trans and being gay are distinct. Musk's daughter knows who she is better than he does. Musk's narrative seems confused. Julie Ray points out that Vivian would have been 16 when she began gender-affirming care, making puberty blockers irrelevant. She would have started hormone replacement therapy. Which and RT. Musk may be conflating puberty blockers with HRT or exaggerating to scare parents. He claims to have been tricked into supporting his daughter's transition to prevent suicide, which Peterson calls a lie. Data contradicts Peterson and Musk. The Trevor Project's meta-analysis shows that gender-affirming care and family support reduce suicidal ideation among trans youth. Studies indicate that socially transitioned transgender children have similar self-worth as cisgender children, though slightly higher anxiety due to fear of mistreatment. Medical transitions, including puberty blockers and HRT, reduce emotional and behavioral problems in suicidal ideation, improving body image and confidence. According to a 2023 Trevor Project survey, 50% of trans and non-binary youth have considered suicide, highlighting a crisis. Experts insist that gender-affirming healthcare is medically necessary and life-saving, which Musk and Peterson ignore, spreading misinformation. They treat being trans as a fad, but it's a beautiful, inherent part of life. When a trans person comes out, it's a radical act of self-love that should be celebrated. They invite loved ones to share in their journey. Elon Musk, however, would rather believe his child is dead than accept her as trans and happy. His daughter's experience of rejection is, unfortunately, common. Trans people often face familial rejection, which is heartbreaking. As CIS people, we must step up. If you know a trans person who's been rejected, be their new family. Be the supportive parent or relative they need. If you're trans or non-binary and have faced rejection, know that you are accepted and valued. The comment section below will be full of people who support you and would be lucky to have you in their lives. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Trans rights are human rights, and it's vital to support and affirm trans identities.